And now we move on to our Android journey story. And of course, we've got Ambassador. Ambassador, it's your turn, man. Give us a lowdown of that Android journey story where you started. It's my most favorite part of the podcast whenever we have someone that comes on and talks about their Android journey story. So I'm really thankful that Brandon, you are here, the Brandonator, to come and talk about his Android journey story. Ambassador, you've got the mic.
What's up, guys? So, I hope nobody has thought me overly abrupt or anything today, but it's just, and then in addition, I want to apologize for my background. I do have some kids in my background, which is why I've been making judicial use of the mute button. But yeah, I've been using Android, guys, ever since Gingerbread. Now that's quite old, and I'm now up to Android 12. So it's been really tremendous. One interesting thing about my story is, I think that one thing I've noticed is that you tend to stay with whatever operating system you started with, unless something happens like what happened to me. So back in the day, back in the like iPhone 3GS days, again, ancient phone, totally ancient phone. But the iPhone 3GS was the first mainstream accessible phone. So I went and I made a Apple ID and everything, and I was all ready to go. I had my Apple ID and it was all set up and everything. And then I went to the store, and at that time I was with a prepaid carrier. I was with Boost Mobile here in the US, and they didn't have any iPhones. So all of that was for nothing, essentially. My creation of my Apple ID and all that, and that's why I started with Android, because all they had in the store at the time was Android. And it's like, well, I need a phone. I can't not have a phone. And back in those days, it was Android Gingerbread, and TalkBack has come a long way, and just the overall the way that you do things on phones. I've worked with both Google and Samsung phones. I've worked with Google and Samsung phones, and just the way that the user interfaces have changed, the way that the keyboards have changed, and the way that TalkBack in particular has changed has just nothing but improved. And now we see, in fact, that Google and Samsung did have a limited sort of collaboration for accessibility back in 2021. So I'm hopeful that will continue, at least that dialogue. But yeah, I just think that one thing that I find really annoying is that it seems like many people, both blind and sighted, think, oh, you need an accessible app, you need to get an iPhone, you need to get some kind of iOS device. They just automatically go to that. And as the Android ambassador, I am going to do my utmost to show people, look, using Android and using iOS are not that different. And I think accessibility should be even on both.
So what phones have you had?
So I've had the Pixel 3, 4, and 5. I had the Galaxy S9, the Galaxy S10, and then I jumped up to the Galaxy S21. Well, I have the Galaxy S21 Plus, but I don't have the Ultra. And right now I use my Galaxy S21 Plus as my daily driver, because that's the one I've got cell service on. And then I use the Pixel 5 just as kind of a test device, just to see, oh, this is how it works on Samsung phone. This is how it works on the Google phone. Like for example, one thing that I think is helpful right now on Google is that TalkBack is able to try to extract and read text and images, but you can't do that on Samsung products yet.
So, Brandon, were there any problems you had when you got started on that gingerbread, man? Kind of making me hungry. talking about gingerbread. Did you have any difficulty? Did you feel like, oh, I made a mistake? And of course, so yours, what happened to you was, it kind of reminds me of what gave some musicians a start, like for instance, Jim Reeves of all people, that, jumped in to fill in for Hank Williams, who didn't show up. So he went to the store specifically to get the Fruitvale device, and it wasn't there, so you jumped on something else. So it reminds me of that story. Were there any problems that you had that kind of made you kind of regret your decision, even though the other guy didn't show up?
Yeah, so I really was never a fan of the circle gesture. Like when you go to change settings in TalkBack, you used to have to draw this circle and then lift your finger when you eventually found the option that you want. I never was a fan of that. But I saw as I went that eventually they turned that into a list, which is a lot more efficient for me to work with if I want to change something about TalkBack. There used to be the issue where anytime you needed to put in a password, whether that be to unlock your device after a restart, let's say, or on the web, you had to connect headphones. Otherwise, TalkBack would just say ... Okay, that's not helpful. That is not helpful. And I don't always want to have to plug in, headphones or earbuds just to put in a password, because that takes such a small amount of time to type in the password and go. It's not like I'm filling out a whole form, But that also has improved. It is not necessary to plug those in now to type a password. In fact, you have a lot of customizability. You can have passwords always spoken, passwords never spoken. You have different options on keyboard, on screen keyboards versus physical keyboards, what you want to have spoken, either nothing at all, or characters, or words, or characters and words. So these are the kind of improvements that I'm talking about that I've seen made on Android, the Android operating system overall. And I'm confident that we're going to see even more improvements made, and I'm optimistic about that.
Well, thank you so much, Ambassador, for that wonderful journey story of Android. And most importantly, now that you're the ambassador, I hope that when you're in Germany, you're not focused on drinking that beer, man.
I will focus on that exclusively. All right, I'll drink a beer as I am being ambassadorial about Android. Okay.
Don't drop your phone in the beer.
No. I'll hopefully be able to use the camera to maybe give a very good description of the color of the beer. And
Thank you.
No. In all honesty, it's a pleasure to be here. It really, really is. Thank you.
Yeah,
sincerely.
we were absolutely happy.
We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
It's been fun having you here today.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.